Hello, I have finished the last wrap and turn from page 1 of the butterfly cowl, which is my first color section. And the instructions now say go back to the very beginning, counting your stitches. If you have counted correctly, you'll end up right at the end with the right number. And why do we do that? Well, if you look at the right side, you'll see we have a garter stitch bump all the way across, but we don't have it on this side. So we need to go back to the beginning to even out the pattern. And as we do that, along the way, we're going to pick up the wraps along with the stitches as we knit them. And you can see it on this side, the stitches have grouped themselves in pairs because when we do a wrap and turn around a stitch, that sort of cinches it up and makes a little space in between the stitch next to it. And because we're always working to the second stitch over on the wrap and turn based on the counting, we've ended up with pairs of stitches, which is also a really good landmark if you're working with the dark yarn or it's just so tiny it's hard to see the stitches. The one on the outside is going to be the one that had the wrap and turn little scarf around it. So you know it'll be this one, this one, this one when we come back to the direction. And we'll use that information on the other side. So here we go. I'm just knitting to start with. And if you find that things are a little bit tight there as I am, notice that 1, make your edge stitches a little bit looser, and 2, slide them up the needle for now. That'll be a little bit easier working because they won't have to be as far apart. So I'm just knitting and I'm working my way up to my stitch marker. Okay, we're gonna slip that, or it's a sheep escaping. Put it back on. And here we go across this side. And notice so far everything's the same height, so that's good. And by same height, I mean I haven't seen those pairs yet, but here they come. So this one looks like a normal one, and it makes sense that it is because it's part of a pair, but the left outside one is the one that I want to really pay attention to in order to pick up the wrap. So here we go, we're gonna knit this one. And then let's look at this nice and close. See how there's a purl bump below it, but then there's a little bit of an extra something right there. The goal is to knit these two things together as if they're one. So you can absolutely pick them up with your right needle, put it back on the left needle, and then knit them together. And see how that helps with all the crossing and closing up a hole? That's why we want to pick up those wraps. So we'll do another one here. We're going to fish for the wrap, and it's tough to see, but if I can get my needle in there, I can find it. So even if I just loosen it up, pick up this one, then pick up the wrap, I can put my left needle back in. And if I've split the stitch, just work it till you get through the middle and then knit them together. If they're feisty and they want to slide around, go ahead, just be patient, work them, you'll get them there. All right. Now, if you are a thrower, same idea. Knit the first one. Then see how stretching it out actually makes it a little easier to see that wrap. It's this part right here. I might come through the back door with this to be able to see it, and then put them both back on the left needle and then knit them together. All right. Knit the first stitch of the pair, and then however I can, see that there's a wrap around this stitch. So I want to get this somehow together with the stitch that I'm trying to knit. Get them on the needle together. That makes it that much easier to pick it up and knit them at the same time as if they were one stitch. And if you can somehow finagle it where you are comfortable picking them up together, 1, 2, you could do it that way. Really doesn't matter as long as you get them together. And if you missed one or you skipped one the first time through, don't worry about it. It's not going to make a giant hole in your project, and we can certainly fix it with a duplicate stitch later on if we need to, just to cinch things up. But it's really good to be able to see the difference between them so that when you are working them, you'll know why you want to do that or not. So here we come up to the end. And because I'm working this I-cord version, you'll notice my colors are changing at this point, but I am gonna just knit those last couple, and then I can make a decision. Do I wanna keep this color or break off this color? And because I'm not gonna use it again for quite a while, break it off. And the black is going to be my main line color, so I'm gonna leave that attached. And hard to see all in one double pointed needle, but now we are ready to go with a line color. And I'll go spread that out on another needle so we can see what it looks like for the next video. Happy knitting!